Hi, Laura J. On my way to school, and I was wondering if you have ever considered the triad of your person. I have talked a lot about it over the last couple years while learning about it myself, and I don't think it's been coined as such until now. However, I'm not quite sure. But what I do know is that I'm going to be presenting that in the conversation I'll be having Monday night with my friend who introduced me to the common law back when I got drawn into the legal system through a summons for my person after having been locked up under the Mental Health Act for 2.5 weeks in 2019, which was disillusioning and also great timing, because had that not happened, I certainly wouldn't have dealt with the pandemic in the way that I did. Though if I could repeat, I wouldn't deal with it as I did in the same way, though certainly I would have made many of the same choices, for all of them were aligned with the belief that I have come to, not leaving the present to be in it, though that is what we do for ideas. Yet, from a heart space perspective, I did not betray myself throughout the process. And I wonder if you did. I wonder if there were choices that you made that betrayed your conscience or yourself in the process of fulfilling an order, or doing something that your public persona required. For that is an aspect of the person and the triad of your person that I want to unpack in relation to the Mental Health Act. Because what came to me during the pandemic was the fact that if we don't get our act together and start acting together, well, then the Mental Health Act could very well become the Health Act. So I share all of this to say that that call is not going to be public. It is private, because sharing everything publicly no longer makes sense when it is at the devaluation of myself and my energies for the sake of sharing it. Yet, health begins together. And if we don't start having the conversations, first allowing those that I bring into my platform to converse, and then allow others to share relevant information, with the caveat that if you haven't lived it, it's not yours to speak on. You have no standing on those words because they're not yours. You adopted them from someone who told you they were good. And I think we really need to be cautious about taking the words of others as truth before we've actually implemented them. Timberwolf. Timber! Falling trees. That's what happens when we believe the word of another without actually having lived those words, nor have they necessarily. And so it's a changing time. And with changing times come changing tides. And that reverts back then to the law of rhythm as one of the 7 natural laws that were coined because they were the ideas of one who assembled them together and then called them the natural laws, or the 7 natural laws, as the way I learned them from Paul Martinelli when I was involved with the John Maxwell team. And that's part of my lived experience, so I can speak to it to a point, and also say there's more that I don't know than what I do. And so no, we will not go with what we know, but instead with what we've lived. And that's what these Monday night meetings are going to begin to be. And there is still the figuring out of the details in order to make it sustainable and replenishing for us who are putting our energies into making the information available so that health does begin together. And the recouping of our energies from the self-betrayals that we may have made over the time that we have been acting against our own nature for the sake of divine nature or lessons or laws. I think it's important to have conversation about without allowing it to get biblical or political, for neither are truly ours, for it was the words of others that may or may not have lived that are captured and coined then, and anyone who challenges that then gets subject to the Inquisition of old, which was just a section of the Roman Catholic Church that is essentially the Roman empire under a different guise, which is why we say, hey guys, why can't you just not challenge the stuff that people's belief systems are founded on? Lots to consider. I hope you're having an amazing spring day. It's gorgeous outside. I hope you get out there because that's where real life happens.